Center, single back is Gibbs. Goff turn, gives it to Jameer, to the end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions. That's the way you make a statement on the road on Monday night to start a football game, straight down the field to the end zone. It is 2nd and goal from the 1. Goff out of the gun, hands it to Montgomery, tries the left side, did not get in. It's going to be 3rd and goal from inside the 1. There, they say he did get in. Late call. There it is. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Better late than never. Out of the gun. Jackson's got it. Running to his right. Wants to throw. Now being pressured. Ball's loose on the ground. It is recovered by Jackson, but it does not matter. That's Lions football. A 4th down stop by this team. Jackson tried to roll out, had a run pass option. Campbell was there to knock that ball loose. That is a big time stop by that defense. Lions show 4 across the front. There's the snap. Jackson back, looking right. Pressure comes. Jackson still looking. Stepping up. Gonna get hit. Gonna go down. Al-Quadin Mohammed got him. Goff out of the gun. Montgomery to his right. Jared's got it back and looking, throwing right side. Wants Amon-Ra. End zone. Got it. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. What a delivery that time by Goff, where only Amon-Ra with those late hands could pull it in, and the Lions are an extra point away from drawing.
Yeah. 1 2 1 2.
Hey yo, AC.
1 2 1 2. Mic check. Hey, can y'all hear me out there? Against all odds. 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 Against all odds.
The podcast. Shout out to Rockhound Detroit Lions, man. One pride.
Rise and Grind Morning Show is the best podcast in the world. Meek Robertson.
All right, good morning. It is Friday, and it is the Rise and Grind Morning Show. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. I'm Will Rock. We'll be joined by the infamous co-host, Eric Rintamaki, here in just one moment. Today, we're going to have a little bit of movie day. I'm sure you expected it after watching Inside the Den last night with Josh Pascal's story. I could say that, man, I was very moved, and it was hard to not be emotional. Clearly, I was a bit emotional during and even after and thinking about it. It brings back all of the things that you go through as a cancer survivor and cancer warrior. Like, it never goes away. But now understanding the gravity of the situation for Josh Pascal, and it's more than just skin cancer, right? Skin cancer is it's one of the worst cancers to have, especially with what he has. If you don't know this, your skin is the largest organ of your body, and he has like one of the worst types of skin cancer there is. So after watching that last night, I figured, you know what? For those that didn't get a chance to watch it, let's watch it this morning. We'll talk about it. But I understand full well of what this man is going through, and the immunotherapies, and for myself, when I go to treatments and then I'm right back in the saddle the next day, like, this stuff's not easy. Podcasting is not for everybody. Getting up on YouTube and running a 2-hour plus morning show is not for everybody. Doing it while you're battling cancer, post-cancer, that's definitely not for everybody. And so I really hope that, people have a much bigger appreciation for Josh Pascal and what he's going through, what he has done, what he has accomplished, and whatever's in store for him next. I don't think that we really learned what's in store for him next. And quite honestly, I just have to say this and get it off my chest. I am so disappointed in some of the fans, mostly a few content creators that have called this dude a bum and said all these other negative, crazy things. Josh Pascal is anything but. He is one of the hardest working men in the league. He's clearly been fighting these internal, I hate to use the word demons, but lack of word choice this morning. He's been battling as hard as he can just to play football because he loves it so much. And he's given everything he has to the game. He's given everything he has to this team. And whether or not he plays another down in the NFL or for the Lions, that's his choice. or maybe it's not. We don't know. And I just got to say, man, for those of you that use words loosely and talk crap about players, you might want to think twice, because someday, and hopefully not, you're going to be in a situation. And how would it make you feel if someone was on the other side saying, "Oh, you didn't show up to do a video today. Oh, you didn't show up to your live today. You're a bum." And then you disappear, and then you're no longer. And the last memory that people have of you is that you were just a bum because you didn't show up. So think about that, right? You never know what someone's really going through. If you ran into me at a grocery store, you'd have no idea of all the things that I go through. Why? Partly because, being a man, you don't show weakness. And you can't ever mistake kindness for weakness either. And I think that certain individuals do that daily, and you shouldn't. You never know. You never know until you know, and then even then it's too late. So you will be judged at some point. I'm not the judge or the evaluator of you, but you should be looking yourself squarely in the mirror, man, and making, I would think, some more personal choices about your life and how you treat other people, because Josh Pascal doesn't deserve that. Not at all. So wake the hell up, right? Start treating people with some damn respect. I don't know what happened to this country over the last several years, but not treating people with respect has got to stop. So anyway, not to go into a long sermon this morning, but I just had to get it off my chest because it was bothering me last night quite a bit. So, all right, let's get this in. Be right back in 17 seconds.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
All right, good morning, Eric. Sorry I left you hanging there for a moment. My bad, man.
Perfectly all right. Nothing wrong with that. I saw this thing about Josh Pascal last night, and the first thing that went to my mind was, this is an update about what's going on with Josh Pascal.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, this cements that we probably are never going to see him suit up for the Detroit Lions again. And that's what I kind of took away from this whole thing.
At the very end, I was like, what just happened? They just kind of ended it and don't really know what the next step is.
The bench. He was sitting on the bench where he always went to contemplate things when he was dealing with cancer. And once again, he was sitting on that bench.
For me, it's like this. I could put myself in his vehicle, man. I could put myself in his body. I could see everything that he was going through, been there, right? Still going through it. And I don't know. I mean, I was trying to look at him physically like, okay, does he look like he's been staying in shape? How long ago did they shoot this? Was this recent? Was this in the last month? Was this over the summer? When did it happen? Because I was trying to evaluate whether or not he was in playing shape or not. And quite honestly, if he's not, he's not. And if he can't come back and play, he can't come back and play. I think the Lions were doing their due diligence during training camp to make sure that they surrounded this team with extra defensive tackles. They went heavy in the defensive tackle room. They brought in a couple of defensive ends in Lacey and Wheat. So I think that they've done what they need to do to make sure that Josh Pascal is he's covered. But more importantly, man, his health is everything. And I got to tell you, I was floored last night when they gave the diagnosis, when the doctor from UK, I can't remember his name, University of Kentucky, when he said that it was lentiginous melanoma, which is a very rare and aggressive form of skin cancer that typically appears on the palms or the soles or under the nails. Man, I learned something new last night. And learning about this, kind of digging into it a little bit. My biggest thing up front was like, he went to a, he didn't go to a dermatologist first. He went to a podiatrist. and they start digging around in it, like cutting it out, like thinking it's a wart or something. Like, man, if I'm just freely speaking here because I've gone through all this crap, like between my sister and Megan and myself and others, the last thing you want to do is disrupt the cells. You disrupt the cells, it just takes one free cell to get loose in the body and it gets everywhere. And then you find out he's got it in the groin, in the lymph nodes, like, damn, stage 3 already to start. And he still played football after that. And he went through all those immunotherapies and all of these treatments, and all he wanted to do was be around the guys. It's pretty impressive, man. But at the same time, it's so heart-wrenching. But maybe, like you're saying, maybe this is the precursor to us finding out that he's done. And I wanna throw this out there too. I was thinking about this. I kind of always have these little wild thoughts, but I believe in the Lions organization. I believe in what they do. I believe in how they treat their players. And part of me was thinking last night, let me get these ads controlled. Part of me was thinking last night, okay, did they put him on NFI, which I think allows him to continue to accrue seasons, right? Once you get through 6 weeks, then you accrue another season. That will help him with his retirement. It'll help him with his benefits. It will help him with his vested 401k, all that stuff. So did the Lions do that intentionally to help him make sure that he had coverage medically, financially, everything moving forward? And I think that the answer is yes. I don't know specifically. I don't know if we would ever be able to find out. I really don't need to. I firmly believe that's what they did for the man. If, in fact, he can't play ball again. And even if he couldn't play ball again, or even if he could play ball again, I think that they would do the same thing. So it's a different kind of Friday, man. Life smacks you in the face. It really does. So I wanted to watch Inside the Den. If you guys are all good with that this morning, I wanted to kind of watch it with everybody, and then we'll get into some things today. We'll start with a few things, though, of course. Then we'll roll into it. So Eric, what's on the tip of your brain this morning, man? What did you want to talk about? And then we'll roll into Josh Pascal here in a little bit.
Yeah, this puts a certain kind of mood on the show for today. Apologize about that, but my mom is dealing with breast cancer, has been for years, and my stepfather has kidney cancer. So it's something that really hits home for me and is one of the reasons I'm here. And if me being a Detroit Lions fan can help some people like my mom or my stepdad, then that's all the better, And watching this last night, I just have a gut feeling there's going to be some kind of big announcement coming out soon that Josh's playing career is done for. And I just have that feeling in my heart of hearts. And after watching that last night, that's kind of how it feels. So everything else kind of takes a back seat to this today. But we'll get through this, and then we'll go through the NFC North report. I have something new around the NFL in 60 seconds. And then I got some bold predictions for this weekend. The Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions, something a little new for me. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to do a couple of new things today, try some stuff out, see if it sticks, and maybe we'll do it every week.
Yeah. Well, pick one. What do you want to start with to get rolling?
To get rolling, why don't we go around the NFL here?
Okay.
I'll do this real quick because this is pretty fast. So let's go around the league in just about 60 seconds. This is just a snippet of what's going on around the NFL. The Saints have named a rookie starter. The youth movement is official in New Orleans. The Saints have named rookie QB Tyler Shuck their starter for the rest of the season, sending 2024 starter Spencer Rattler to the bench. The Chargers have added some veteran help. The Los Angeles Chargers have claimed veteran cornerback Casey Hayward off waivers, poaching him from their division rival, the Las Vegas Raiders. There's a little bit of trouble in San Fran. The 49ers are suddenly banged up again. Both Brock Purdy toe and Ricky Pearsall's shoulder were surprised did not practice participants yesterday, putting their status for week 9 in serious doubt. The Falcons, on the other hand, are getting healthy. The Falcons had a massive injury report yesterday, but it was good news. QB Michael Penix Jr., wide receiver Drake London, and tight end Kyle Pitts all returned to practice in a limited capacity, a great sign for their availability for Sunday. While the Seahawks are looking to buy at the deadline, the Seahawks are not standing pat with Sam Darnold playing well. Reports indicate GM John Schneider is on the lookout for offensive line help before the November 4th trade deadline. And then the biggest news of the day. More than 10 million YouTube TV customers lost access to ESPN, ABC, and other Disney channels Thursday night after a contract negotiation over carriage fees collapsed. The dispute reflects broader tensions as programming companies demand higher fees for sports content while pay TV providers push back against ever-rising subscriber bills. College football and NFL games are among the programming affected, with no clear resolution within sight. Similar carriage disputes have previously lasted weeks, and that is around the league in 60 seconds.
So I didn't hear about the ESPN thing.
Yeah, it just popped up this morning.
Now I subscribe to the $30 a month plan for the ESPN. I think
Yep.
I just need to go back to cable because I pay $300 a month in frickin' subscriptions.
I know.
It's crazy. Now some of them I need, right? I mean, I have about 12 subscriptions just to do this show and just to have the analytics and metrics and things to guide me because I write original material. Unlike what other people think. Some people think that I don't. We highlight individuals' material at times, but otherwise we do original stuff. So it takes a lot of subscriptions, man. You have to have access to the wire if you want to be able to do things. And in order to watch Monday Night Football, you need ESPN. In order to watch Thursday Night Football, you need Prime. And Prime just changed things too. So Amazon, about a month and a half ago or something, they had changed where no longer shared family members were going to have access to accounts unless you were grandfathered
really?
in. Yeah, so they were getting rid of that. And so if you weren't already grandfathered in, you were screwed. So if you ever unlink from a shared family account, you're screwed. You're not getting it back. So make sure you don't accidentally screw something up. Otherwise, everyone's going to be paying. But just like the YouTube thing too, you can get a family plan for YouTube Premium, which is $20 a month. And if you have, 4 of your closest friends that you want to share it with, I mean, there's many ways to pay now. You can just send each other $5 a month and pay for it. But it's only $20 for 5 people as opposed to $14 a month for one person. And I've written YouTube so many frickin' times to say, look, this needs to be our giveaway. Like, you need to give us the ability to gift a 30-day membership. And if they keep it, then you need to give us 10% of that or 30% of that income. I think that would be a fair trade-off because I would be handing them out left and right to give people premium access. But they have yet to respond. So we'll see if they do it at some point. But yeah, memberships, man. I'm sorry, not memberships. Subscriptions. It's kind of a joke at this point. Cutting the cord was supposed to be the thing. And now it's like, okay, I don't have a cord anymore. I have a chain. I have a chain. All these different subscriptions that
Isn't
make
it crazy?
they're all, each one's just a different link to a different URL. And now I've got another chain. I've got another cord now. So
isn't it crazy that 30 years ago you had a TV with an antenna And that was all you needed to watch every single NFL game. And you didn't have to pay anything. And now it costs you like $800 a season just to watch the games on TV.
Yeah.
So,
I think I've said this before. Now there's two things I'm going to share with you. So I say that I have like $1 billion brain, but I don't have $1 billion to do the things that I want to do. 30 some odd years ago. No, I was probably 19, 20 years old. So about 25 years ago. I remember vividly I had a, it's not Charter Spectrum. It's the other one. What's the other big TV cable company?
Warner?
No, in Michigan. Comcast. So I had Comcast fixing my stuff, and I was talking to him like, hey, how come I can't just order what I want? Why can't I just get the channels that I want to get? I'm stuck into these 3 vehicles. You've got like whatever, basic and silver and gold or premium or whatever, right? I said, why can't I just pick the channels that I want? I don't need all this other crap. And so at that point, I started discussing it with, a lot of friends and some other people. I said, why can't we create something that you just pick the channels you want? And literally, it's felt like overnight. A couple years later, I think it was Netflix comes out. And that was like the first shoe to drop. And then all these little subscriptions started to follow. And it's like, man, if I would have taken that idea and somehow wiggled my way into a boardroom, at one of these major cable companies, to think what could have been, right? And then there's this one, and Megan will back me up on this, 1,000%. About 4 years ago, I said, when you look at a picture, I said, wouldn't it be great that if, when one of your family members passes, that you have a picture and you, I want to develop an app where you can record video from them before they die, and you record their voice, or if you have old videos and audio, that you can upload it to this app, and then you can make that picture talk. And I said, that would be sweet, right? I mean, that would be amazing. And we would play this game. I would take my phone and I would put it under the pillow or under a blanket. I would shut it off when I would talk about these ideas because it's always listening. A year later, it happens. It's all over the place now. You see it everywhere. And now AI, 2 years after that, is completely taken off and you can do whatever you want. So it was coming no matter what, but I just think it's kind of funny that I had that idea and then it happens a year later and it's like, man, again, what could have been? So the moral of this story is don't sit on your ass. Go do something about it. Because even though I had a good idea, I didn't do anything about it. I just, just kind of let it go. But anyway, good stuff around the league.
Man, you got all those big ideas, and I had Yooper problems.
Yooper problems?
I wanted heated windshield and heated wheel wells in my vehicle, so I don't have to scrape the ice out in the wintertime.
Yeah, it's well now they have the heated. Well, I've had it for a while. The heated mirrors and
yeah, but
we got the heated wiper blades.
I've still to see heated wiper blades, and I've still
no, they have it
to see heated wheel wells.
They have the wiper blades.
Do they? Yeah. I need to get those. And
the wheel wells, like the wheel well or the tire?
The wheel where around the tires, because that builds up in there and gets all frozen. It's horrible. Especially when you're on a long trip going across the UP or something.
Yeah. I hear you. All right, I got to find. I was linking some stuff in here. You and I were having a war last night. You were dropping stuff in. I was trying to drop stuff in. And
oh, really?
Yeah, and so when you were dropping stuff in, it kept like pushing my screen down. I was like, forget it. I'm just gonna wait. But anyway, I wanted to go through something last. The top trades that they're saying that every team should still be targeting here before the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to go through the NFC North. But I found it interesting. I've been talking about, a couple of positions, corner and offensive tackle for the Lions. And where's the Lions So what they're saying here on NFL.com is that the Detroit Lions' biggest need right now is cornerback. They say the Detroit's no-name secondary, the Legion of Whom, right? They played a massive game on Monday Night Football heading into the bye week, and while that's been a feather in the cap of the defensive coordinator Calvin Shepard, the Lions don't want to lean on a crew of undrafted free agents for long. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. And then when you hit it big, early at a casino, that's funny. Just had that conversation with my son 2 days ago. Walk out, or you'll wind up giving it all back to the house. And Detroit's secondary is playing with house money at the moment. Adding another veteran for depth would provide insurance if injuries continue to mount. Well, I think that we're good on the injury front as far as having depth. Like, we have 5 new guys. I think we're solid. We have plenty of depth. And, yeah, they played one great game. And what Calvin Shepard said the other day is, don't make any mistake about it. These guys came in and pushed for some starter time. Like, they pushed some of the starters the way that they played. Now, when DJ Reed's healthy, is he going to get in there? 100%. When Terry and Arnold's healthy, is he going to get in there? 100%. But I think what Calvin's trying to hint at here is, if you're not playing up to the level and the standard that we expect, and there's a guy sitting over there on the bench that we think that could, or a guy that's sitting at home watching the game and he's on our practice squad and we think that he could, he's going to get in the game. Eventually, you've got to play to the standard or he's going to get into the game. And I don't think that there's any mistake about the guys that they brought in. I mean, you got some young guys that clearly are developmental pieces, but I don't agree with what this statement is, that you don't want to lean on a crew of undrafted free agents for long. Yeah, it's extremely rare that a bunch of undrafted free agents would make a roster year over year. The Lions seem to find one, like every year, that comes out of left field and plays pretty well. They just did it with, a handful of guys. I guess I'm not as scared. After watching them play in one game, I need more time. Like, I need to see more of them. I'm just not as scared as playing with, with some of these guys that we brought in. I think that Arthur Mollett has, he has a little bit of experience, and I think that provided, at least he showed enough moxie, in that Monday night that he can play the game. Same thing for Chicago. They're saying that Chicago needs a corner. Well, they lost their 2 top corners, right? Tyreek Stevenson and Jalen Johnson. They have Nick McLeod and Nashawn Wright. They were beaten on key plays in that loss to the Ravens, but depth at corner for the Bears is an issue, and that's partly why they brought in CJ. So the pass rush could also be an option for Chicago, securing just 7 quarterback pressures in Week 8. Again, I haven't dissected what the Bears did against the Ravens, but if they played with any sort of contain, that you're going to have lower pressure. Right? If you're not getting after the quarterback, you're going to have lower pressure amount, lower pressure grade. And I don't think our fan base understands that either. The scheme dictates really what your stat lines are going to be. If you're not getting after the quarterback and you're playing from a position of just contain the quarterback, just make sure you stop the run, why would you have a bunch of pressure? Unless it comes naturally from your front 4. So I wouldn't agree with that either, with what they're saying here, but they definitely do need a corner. For Minnesota, they're saying corner again, but we just heard Paul Farrington yesterday said it's offensive line. The offensive line is a massive issue. They have injuries to Brian O'Neill and Christian Darrisaw, which exacerbates the troubles that the unit has been dealing with. What was that number he said? Like 43 pressures with the backups and only like 7 with the starters? Or something like that. It was a crazy number that he threw out. And I didn't go back and listen or write it down. But obviously the corners entered the season with questions as they had gone through a roller coaster ride. Isaiah Rodgers has been magic or tragic. I like that. Magic or tragic. I'm going to have to steal that. The Jeff Okudah, I mean, come on, let's be real. He's been picked on left and right this season. And then where's the Packers at?
They're at the top.
Where are the Packers? I don't see them.
They're at the top of the NFC North.
I think I have a stupid ad covering it.
Ah.
Oh no, I see it now. Why do they have that logo there?
I don't know. It's weird, isn't it?
That
GB
totally threw me off.
in a weird color. Yeah.
But cornerback for them too. So this was the intriguing thing that all 4 teams in the NFC North, according to NFL.com, and who wrote this? Kevin Patra, whatever, the same corner for all 4 teams.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know. I definitely don't agree, but I would say the Vikings need offensive line. I would say the Lions. If you could snag a starting corner, like Roger McCreary was my guy. That was the guy that I expected, the Lions to potentially go after. And he was snagged up an hour after I said that, and he was gone. I think Reek Woolen is still out there.
Yeah.
I think he was.
But why would Seattle want to give up on him already?
No, I don't think they would.
I don't think so either.
It's like I said the other day. I said he's not going to be traded. There's just I don't get why they would do that when they're having the season that they're having.
Yeah,
I wouldn't count on it.
I liked what Kelvin Shepard said yesterday. He said, it's an insult to the players that we have to talk about trades right now.
Absolutely, dude. That was I was going to bring his video in, but that is absolutely a statement that I could hitch my wagon to.
Yeah. If you're in the building and you're doing a job, for everyone to be talking about bringing someone else in, it's like, that's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
If you do it, that's up to the guys that run the show. If they feel that an upgrade is needed, well, that's up to them. For us to sit and speculate and everything else, it's nothing but speculation. And like I've said all week long, I can't wait for Wednesday. Wednesday, November 4th at 4 p.m. that's my favorite day of the year from now on, is the day the trade deadline is done for the season. Then the only people you can bring in are free agents or people off of practice squads.
Yeah.
And
I'm with you there.
Hopefully we don't need anyone else. We're getting all these guys back. We're not going to have enough room. Just like yesterday, Justin Rogers came out and said that he is expecting that Ahmed Hassanin is going to be back with the team in the next week or the week after. So you have all sorts of guys coming back. DJ Reed, you have Ahmed Hassanin, you have.
Well, the question on Ahmed Hassanin though is how long is it going to take him? I mean, we have to be real for a moment. Okay, he's a rookie. He got through training camp.
Yeah.
He played in one preseason game?
Two or three.
Two?
Yeah. I think it was the third one because they were against Miami when he got hurt in the third preseason game.
Okay, so he made it through a couple preseason games. But how ready is he going to be after missing 12 to 14 weeks?
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, he's going to have to get game ready. Could he be utilized in situational, opportunities? Absolutely. But I would be more concerned about his football readiness, not so much his body. I think he'll be in great shape. But I'd be more concerned about his football readiness and being ready to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll find out. I'm not going to rest my hat, on that until we get to see it. But to your point, we get some guys back. I think we get some good depth back, and that's my bigger question is, are you going to put Ahmed Hassanin on the roster and end up losing somebody that you probably need?
To the practice squad.
Oh, he can't. He can't go to the practice squad.
Why not? Every team passed on him when he was a free agent.
No,
every single team.
You can't go to the practice squad.
You don't think so?
No, because you're leaving it wide open for somebody to take him. So that shouldn't. He's going to have to go to the roster. He's going to have to go from injured reserve or the.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they could if you could protect him, but I'd have to go back and look at the rules. I know that you could protect up to 6 guys, or is it up to 4 guys? I think it's 4 guys. You have 6 vets,
yeah,
and then you have the rest of the guys that have to have less than 2 years of accrued seasons, and I think you can protect 4 of them. I don't know that you can protect a rookie like that. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. Look, I'm not dogging the dude. It's just I think that when you look at the roster, who are you going to lose right now?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question.
I would rather be having these conversations about people coming back and who we're going to have to let go. That to me is so much more intriguing than trade talks, because what happens most of the time at the trade deadline? Brad trades for Tim Patrick. You know, he trades for something you don't even see coming. It wasn't like wide receiver was this big pressing need when he got Tim Patrick.
Right.
So he could draft or trade for, like I said, a backup quarterback would be, I think, more in line than anything.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I had mentioned the other day. Like, if there is a backup quarterback out there, and the name that I was thinking is Cooper Rush. Now,
There you go. Perfect.
He doesn't necessarily fit as far as prototypical pocket passer, but he does have experience. He's started plenty in the league. He is mobile. I think he's a pretty smart quarterback. He's the third or the emergency quarterback right now. I mean, he is one that you could potentially, try to target. Otherwise, I just don't see a whole lot out there. There's just not a ton of guys available. With the Lions only having 2 quarterbacks, it's a bit scary.
Yeah, we don't even have a third emergency quarterback.
We sure
Who
don't.
is our third? Who's our third emergency quarterback? It's probably David Montgomery.
You could probably throw Isaac Tesla in there.
I'm going to ask that question to someone I know. I'm going to ask Justin Rogers that question right now. I don't know how to send a message on Twitter. Never done it before.
Do it in
there it
just
is.
do it in the
I found
Substack.
it. I found it.
If you do it in a Substack, it's easier.
Yeah, I can do it there.
And you can start a new thread.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get into your knee-jerk reactions here. Your 5 bold.
All
And
right.
then I want to bring in Calvin Shepard, and then we're going to finish the day out with the Josh Pascal video. That'll probably be the last thing that we do, because it's 30 minutes long. We'll probably finish the day with that. And then I also want to talk about a couple other things. Number 1, Jameson Williams. I think it's hilarious. Just the other day, we were talking about JMO, the lack of the usage. And one of the things that I mentioned is that John Morton has to get him more involved. And yes, there's opportunities. No, he has not always been open. Like some people think that he just hasn't been. And John Morton said that. I've got to figure out a way to get this guy open. When they're doubling Saint, when they're doubling down JMO, you have to find another way to get him involved in the game, which is put more threats on the field, spread the field out. Sometimes you have to get away from the tight packages. You have to get away from 11 personnel a little bit at times, and you've got to spread the field. So JMO, consistently being a deep target, it doesn't work. Last year, he was targeted more around the 12 yards was average depth of target. This year, it's like 17. And I would say that that's a huge mistake. Utilize him in some of the shorter routes. Utilize him in some of the underneath things. When he catches the ball, it's 1-2 steps gone. If he has a hole, if he has a crease, if he has makes a move, he can gain another 5, 10, 15, or, take it all the way, or maybe he goes for 30 or 40. The point is, get him the ball.
Yep.
So John Morton admitted that, and one of the best statements out of yesterday from John Morton was that he admitted the fact that he was wrong that he had some things that he needed to address, did it, but it wasn't just about him. There was some other things going on too, like making the right, not so much for Jared Goff to make the right reads, but making sure you're playing the right or using the right details on the play, knowing what your assignment is, using the right technique is really what he said. So I think that it was beneficial for us to hear that, right, as a fan. But I also feel like it was beneficial to hear what Jameson Williams said. And a lot of people think that J-Mo's been upset. The one thing I posted last night on Twitter, I've been staying way off of Twitter. It's just so toxic out there, is that someone kept always, I look, this is so high school to me. Do we really care about emojis and stuff like that on people's social medias?
They do.
So you're going to go out there and because someone put a smiley face or a thumbs up or a frown face or what, is that journalism? The deep dive investigative journalism is caring about emojis?
Yep.
That's the extent of our journalism today.
Or whether someone deleted their Instagram.
You've got to be shitting me, right? Like, this can't be real. There's no way that we give a flying F about what somebody puts on social media unless it's a clear statement. I'm pissed. I'm not happy I didn't get targets. Okay, then follow up. But because someone put a frown face or whatever he put on Instagram, I think it was like a picture of a frowny GIF and then, I don't know, something else. But like J-Mo said, it had nothing to do with the Lions. Had nothing to do with football. And I'm sorry. Like, if that's the level of journalism that we have in today's world, like, that is pathetic. We need to go back to getting real stories and paying attention to the real things. I'm sorry. Social media is just a giant game. It's just a giant experiment. It's all it is. It's a giant experiment to keep you all distracted, and clearly it's working for some of you. I'm trying to find J-Mo's statement here real quick. It's a great statement.
Yeah, I think it's in the thing I had here. Let's see.
There we go. Let me pull it in here.
Oh, there you go.
It's about six. It's about 6 minutes long or so.
You know, in watching this thing with J-Mo, it was just nice to see him kind of laugh it all off and be like, you know what? It's no big deal. It's all right.
Yeah.
So I loved it.
All right. I think we're good with that size. Actually, we're not. Let me go to the next one. Okay, J-Mo's conversation yesterday after practice and on emojis, apparently. Emojis.
Spoke to Johnny Moe this morning. I was kind of just saying that he talked to you, during the bye week about potentially giving you the ball more and just show professionalism in that situation, man. Just talk about him, and he was just saying he even thought that he failed you in a sense. Just talk about him as speaking up on your behalf and trying to get you involved a little more as well in the back end of the season.
Yeah, he came to me, expressed to me how he felt, and but with me, I really wasn't taking it too far into thinking about it. We was winning games and things like that, so I could never get myself too worked up with me getting the ball or me getting targeted, things like that. I know it's gonna come. It's a long season. We're a team that make it into the playoffs, so I knew things like that was gonna come. Me and him talked on the field yesterday before practice, and we just got to understand how we're gonna move forward, and that's the best thing about it, I think.
What's it mean to have a coach? Literally just playing and getting targets, man. Where did you learn that from? Or have you leaned on anybody, or just putting the team first?
I learned that probably from Teddy. When Teddy came around, things wasn't going my way, and he just told me to stay focused and keep moving forward. The life we live is different from others, and others want to be in the spot we in. So we can never take it for granted or get too worked up on ourselves about mishaps or when things not going right. You just got to keep going to eventually it's gonna get right.
What's it mean to have a coach say that to you? I failed you. I want to get you the ball more. Just that level of accountability. What does that mean?
It means a lot, because he obviously sees it, and that's just the main thing, acknowledging it. We went so long without acknowledging it, so acknowledgement, it was the best thing about that, I think.
So can you clarify, after the Monday night game, you did post on social media, sad faces and things like that. After the Monday night game, you did post in the morning about sad faces.
Had nothing to do with football.
Yeah, can you clarify what that was about?
It's Instagram. I just posted something on Instagram. That's all
When you have the speed that you have, JMO, and you make the kind of big plays that you make, defenses are obviously going to take notice. What have you seen from defenses over the last year, just the way that they treat you and cover you?
I see more help over me, I see the way that they spread out their defense. Defenses try to take, 14 out the game. They try to take me, my ability to go over the top out the game. And, that's the main thing of what I've been seeing, in the first half. So we got plans to attacking it, and, we got a lot of players. So we never really worried about one person getting took out the game because, we got other players to go make explosives and touchdowns and, plays for us. So try to take one player out the game for us, it really is I don't think that's a good plan.
You're one of the foundational pieces that, was rewarded with a big contract. Now you see Hutch getting his from the same class. Just speak about that, man. Playing for the organization, a guy like Brad Holmes who rewards guys he drafted. What does that do for the locker room?
First off, congratulations to my guy Hutch. We same draft class, my brother coming in. And I look at it as, it's a smart strategic move by Brad, keeping the team together early because we got real deal shots at going to get a championship. And, we win one, we can go back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back, with the same roster because the same guys are coming back. So I look at it as a real good strategic move on his half.
So many rosters change in the NFL, but to see a team want to keep everybody together and knowing that you do you feel fortunate in a way that you get to play your first few years in the NFL with the same guys?
For sure, because maybe guys want to stay in the same city. Maybe guys don't want to, move and have to rekindle, relearn, things like that. So, I think it's good for us. We've all came in together. We learned together. We grew together. Our relationships just got stronger, and by the way we play for each other, you could just tell how much we love each other and how hard we would go for the next man. So, keeping us together, I think it was the best thing.
Hey, Jameson, I'm sorry I walked up later, so I'm sure you addressed it, but just your level of frustration with the lack of time.
I ain't frustrated at all, bro. How could I be frustrated? I'm me.
You want catches, obviously, right? So.
Yeah, it's a part of the game, but, I got catches. I would like more, but, I'm never frustrated about that.
John said today, he sort of apologized, he said he wouldn't, if he were you, he wouldn't blame you for being angry at him.
Oh no, I'm not angry. I'm good.
After that last game, you did post something on Instagram,
Yeah, I told him the same thing. It was just Instagram, just posting something. I used to post a lot of stuff and be coming up here and getting asked about every post I make. It was just a post though. Wasn't no meaning behind it or nothing.
It wasn't related to
no football relations.
How was your bye week?
It was good. I rested. I was really watching football a lot and spending time with my family. That was my main thing, spend time with my family.
Okay, so that's really all I wanted to show with Jameson Williams. A lot of good stuff in there. One of the best interviews I've seen with JMO. Not so much about the questions being asked, but his answers and his demeanor and just the way that he approached it and the things that he had said here. Look, this guy, he has grown so much since he came in 2022. The first thing I'll address is asked about the post on Instagram the first time, and he's like, look, it's Instagram, and then later he was asked again, about being frustrated. He says, how could I be frustrated? I'm me. What we know about JMO is the dude's always laughing, he's always smiling, he's always happy, right? He's always goofing around, he's always in a good mood. It's not a guy that's gonna be, pissed off or angry. And you know what? If he is, he's going to let you know, I'm sure. But it's not going to be on some stupid Instagram post. And then I also liked what he added to that, saying, I used to post a lot more, and then I would get grilled here. I'd get talked to about it here, asking me questions about it here. So he quit. He kind of laid off. And I think that was a smart thing to do. So he's not angry. He's not frustrated. He says, look, I got catches. I would like more, but we're winning games. That is a huge change from a guy that was a rookie that you could tell was more frustrated on the sidelines. I remember, vividly when he came in and he got in those last 6 games or 5 games of the year. He was getting in one of the receiver, I think it was the receiver coach at the time, his ear on the sideline, Packers game. Like, he wasn't celebrating with his guys, but I think it was just Jamo trying to learn, right? And he was trying to navigate his way through being a rookie, navigate his way through playing in the NFL, and definitely a playbook that was not easy to understand, I'm sure. And now look at where he's at today. He just wants to win, man. He just wants to win. That's it. And he's going to do whatever it takes to win. That goes back to Brad Holmes and making sure that he brought the right guys in, and then how impressed he is about, what are they doing to take you away? What are they doing to stop you? What are you seeing now in the first half? And he's like, look, they want to take 14 out of the game. They want to, try to take me out of the game, but taking one player out of the game, that's not a good plan, because we have others. We have plenty of guys on this squad that can go make plays. And I agree with him, but Morton has to figure out a way to keep him involved. You don't want to keep him, taken out of the game forever, because at some point he's not going to be ready for the ball, right? He's not going to be, he might drop the ball. We saw that in that one game, which I don't remember which game that was, but he had a couple of drops and, a few miscues. That's what's going to happen. You have to keep him in a rhythm. I mean, these guys they're like thoroughbred horses. You have to race them, right? If you don't race them, they kind of fall apart. You have to keep him fed, man. You have to keep him involved in the game plan. You have to race Jamo. You have to. Keep it Hutch. He said, smart, strategic move. But then he went deeper, man. We grew together. And even saying that maybe some guys don't want to move around and have to re-gel or rekindle relationships. And, we've grown and learned together. And you can see how much we love each other and how much we want to play for each other. So at the end of the day, Jamo, totally new dude in 2025. This is the Jamo that we expect moving forward. He's a team guy. He just wants to win football games, but you still have to keep him involved. You can't take that for granted. You can't waste an opportunity. You still want him to earn his money, right? But if you win a Super Bowl this year, is he going to be upset that he wasn't more involved? Probably later. Probably later down in life when he says, yeah, we won a Super Bowl, but I didn't contribute. Like my stats weren't great and I didn't contribute a whole lot. He probably wouldn't be happy about it then, but he still contributes. He's still blocking downfield. He's still doing things, to help out this team. He's still acting as a decoy. But man, we got to see him involved. And I think that this is a good opportunity for it this weekend. So what was your takeaway on Jamo?
Well, mine is this. These people that do the interviews, they're not fans. They're reporters, and they report what they want to report because they had a golden opportunity to ask Jamo about something super awesome that he did this week. He did a trunk or treat for kids right outside of Ford Field, and he had Kirby Joseph there, and it was awesome. And they didn't ask him about that at all, about his charitable stuff that he does for the community down there in Detroit. They didn't ask him about that at all. So I thought that was a really missed opportunity yesterday to highlight something really cool that Jamo did. Why does it always have to be negative? Why can't it be some positive stuff once in a while? That's the only thing I wish that the beat reporters for the Detroit Lions would try to show some of that stuff.
Well, Eric, you know as well as I do.
Yeah, I know.
It's like negativity.
I know who asked that question too.
Negativity sells. And for some reason, these SOL fans that Well, so they say they're fans. Some of them are media members. And some of the medias look, they're great. Sorry, I'm having trouble swallowing still. The one, the one guy or the one media member that always seems to ask these questions, it's consistent.
Yeah.
It's always consistent. And it's not about getting a story. It's not about digging to create a story. No, it's creating a false narrative, or it's creating a negative narrative. It's putting this black cloud over the Lions instead of rising above and saying, how can I go put this situation in a good light? JMO, like, okay, the first half of the season didn't go well for you. There were some things that Johnny Morton said that he wanted to get you more involved in. How did you feel about that? What are we going to see from you in the second half? What's your response to all of that? Like, okay, ask the easy layup question, and then maybe ask him a few other targeted questions about what he wants to do in each game, or, hey, what have you done to contribute? What are you doing out there? So maybe for the typical fan that doesn't have time to go watch film, what is JMO doing on the plays when he's not catching a football? Explain to us how important you are to this team. No, I saw some emojis on Instagram.
It would have been better if they said, "Hey, JMO, can you explain how you got so good at blocking as a wide receiver for the Detroit Lions?"
Well, Johnny Mo keeps me out of the game plan. He could have went, but he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's look, like, I try not to have this big target on my back, but I do, because when you come to the mic and you want nothing but truth, honesty, and transparency out of the team, like, that's why this whole thing got, part of the reason why this got started. When it got started, the goal was truth, honesty, and transparency. It was trying to highlight the team in a good light. Yes, we'll be critical at times. We'll be honest. We'll be real about our reactions and our feelings. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not going to try to dig to go find negative stuff on these guys that has nothing to do with the game, right? But absolutely, Eric, big missed opportunity here.
Yeah.
JMO, you put a lot of smiles on some kids' faces yesterday. What did you do? Tell us about that emoji.
Yeah, and him, Kirby Joseph, and this little kid did the Thriller dance because the kid was dressed up like Michael Jackson, and it was awesome. There's a reel out there on the interwebs. It's really hilarious, really good.
I at some point we've got to see the tide just change. Like, at some point it's like, we got to get past the negative crap.
Well, I think with the press and the media, I mean, this goes all the way back to when Tom Kowalski. I used to, every single day, I would go to McDonald's and I would get the newspaper, the Free Press, because I was too cheap to buy it. And you got to remember, back then there was no cell phones, there was no, immediate
reactions.
How to get my Detroit Lions news. There was no way to get it other than in the sports section of the Free Press and the News and USA Today. That was the three things that I read almost every single day. So whenever I'd go to McDonald's, they always had them up on the counter. They always had a copy up there, and sometimes I'd have to wait for somebody to get done reading it so I could read it. And it just annoyed the heck out of my wife, because I always went there and I, just start reading. It kind of be like me getting my phone out now and looking at stuff on my phone. And back then it was always, you had to search, and you really had to look for anything positive about the Lions.
Well, that's because the team wasn't good,
ever put out. It was always SOL. I mean, especially 2008 when we went 0-16 with who'd we have? John Kitna and Dan Orlovsky at quarterback, and it was crazy bad. So I know a lot of the guys have been around since then, Dave Burkett and a lot of these guys, and I'm not calling him out or anything, but it's just I think now as Lions fans, we're spoiled. We've got the most wins in the NFL over the last couple of seasons, and the tide is turning, and I can see it's turning, and some of these guys are getting into it now where they're writing more good stories, but man, it's just, I wish these little things like the stuff about social media and that would just go away and be done for good. It'd be nice to see that stuff finally gone. And I have to wonder if the press and media in places like, I don't know, Kansas City or San Francisco or some of these other, big markets that have done well for so long, if they're the same way as in Detroit, if they pick on every player they can whenever they can.
I mean, just go look. I mean, that's what the scheduled report and things like we haven't done this year a whole lot, but
yeah,
that's what it's for, and yeah, you're gonna see the things that are negative if a player's in trouble or if they do something wrong or
what'd you get in the mail?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to show you. So yeah, it's out there, but I think it's more relative to football. It's more relative to what they're doing on the field. I don't think it's relative to what they're doing in their personal life.
Yeah.
Their personal social media accounts have nothing to do with football unless they post something on there. Look, when a player erases stuff off their social media, I my first thought isn't, oh, they're upset at the team. Like, think about that for a moment. Does that hurt the team? If you unfollow a team or if you erase some things off your social media, does that hurt the team? No. Doesn't affect the team one bit at all. Matter of fact, doesn't hurt them financially, doesn't hurt their ratings, doesn't hurt their wins and losses, doesn't hurt them at all. So unless they post something that specifically is damning against a franchise, it means absolute squat. But anyway, pop off of that. Got a big shout out here to Robbie Ones. He said on the cornerback situation, he says the wide receivers in the NFC North are elite compared to other divisions. That's why we all need cornerbacks in the North. Look at what's in the North and compared to others. Big $5 super chat, Canadian dollars. I don't know the math on that. But anyway, appreciate you, Raw. And yeah, that kind of makes sense. I don't see the NFL.com didn't really frame it that way. They were more talking to some of the depth and injuries and stuff. But I could see that. I could absolutely see that. Where, you look at the racehorses that we have in this division, the Addison and Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown and J-Mo and Isaac Tesla when he rises. And on the other side, you got Odunze and Moore. And in Packerland, you have Dobbs and Watson and Golden. Now they're rookies. So, yeah, I mean, there's some good wide receivers. I mean, I think all divisions have some good wide receivers, but there's definitely not just one on each team. There's at least two and sometimes three, depending on which team it is, that you have some legit threats. The Lions just have the Magnificent Seven. So we're more than blessed. So yesterday, maybe it was the day before. So I tried to warn you guys that when these Sensi things go on sale, I put everything out there. I said they were going to be sold out by 3:30 in the morning. I don't know why Sensi released it at 3 a.m. when they did a month ago or whenever that was. But I tried to warn everybody that if you wanted one of these, you had to get on and buy it right away. Well, I didn't get one, but someone got one for me, and I couldn't believe it. So this shows up. Megan went and picked it up, and I think they did a bang-up job on this one, man. This thing is really cool. But this is the new Sensi helmet warmer for 2025.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did they have a black or the dark blue one too? With the
No, they
line?
just do one version.
Oh, just one version. Oh,
yeah.
man.
And then so where you put your warmer, it has one pride on it.
Oh,
that's where you
man,
put your little wax right there. So yeah, this will go with the other one now. The other one is I don't think you can see it, or maybe you can. But the other one's right here. It's just it's a Lions football, blue and same colors, but it's more of a football shape. And that one has like the field on it. But yeah, so this showed up, and yeah, thanks to Megan, and thanks to her friend that made sure we got one. So
nice.
Yeah, super appreciative of that. It's the cool little things like this that serves a dual purpose, right? So I think it's absolutely hilarious. Like Megan knew nothing about football, didn't care about sports at all. And it's like last night I'm like, hey, I'm going to sit down and watch, Inside the Den. It's about Josh Pascal, and I have a feeling we're going to learn some things about, the cancer stuff. And she stopped everything that she was doing just to come and watch it. But it's consistent now. Like if there's a game on, if it's a Thursday night game, if it's a Monday night game, it's now gone from, so who we rooting for in this game to, okay, she understands like, what's going on now. She's getting there year by year. She's getting better and better and better. So I just think it's absolutely incredible now to be able to share that with her. Because before it's like, I'm speaking Japanese, and she had no clue what I was talking about half the time, or why I'm excited about this, or why I'm excited about that. But now she gets it. So it's fun to be able to share that stuff.
Hey, somebody just said something in the chat that just jogged something in my memory. Doesn't Ahmed Hassanin, don't we get an exception for him on the 53 because he's a foreign player? Or is that just in training camp?
I think it's just with a 90-man.
Okay.
I'm not 100% positive, but I think it's just with the 90-man. Hold on here.
Yeah, and Trace, Justin Rogers that was what I quoted for the Ahmed coming back next week or the week after.
And you're talking about the International Pathway Program.
Yeah.
While I'm looking that up, let's bring Amik Robertson in. He's going to have a big job this weekend. Let's see what he had to say about his job this weekend. And let's just listen. I think he's
my favorite player for this season, Amik Robertson.
Yeah, mine too.
On the line,
Yeah.
Team last year. Last time you guys faced them, everything was on the line.
Yeah.
Team last year. How do you different stakes now? It's midseason.
Same smoke, man. So like you in order, because we know what our goal is. So each and every time you out there, anytime you get a chance to play a game, the goal is to go 1-0 every week. So anytime you get to step foot on that grass and face an opponent, you got to come with the same smoke, man, because you can't get too high, because that's when you get knocked off. So we're gonna come with that, coming at the same smoke, man, same focus.
Helps you get Jets again.
Yeah, it's always a great opportunity, man, to go against the best. Have a great respect for him. He's a dog, but I'm a dog too.
How do you feel about your first 7 games so far this year?
I feel good about it. Left some plays out there, but you got to move on, man. You live and you learn, move on. The goal is to be the best teammate that I could be, man. Continue helping this team get the ball back, eliminate, just go out there and be me, and that's what they allowed me to do. So, I'm gonna continue getting better each and every week. One thing about me, I'm that kind of player that I don't get too high and I don't get too low. I stay level-headed. So because there's always levels that I want to reach. So, so far I think I've been playing well.
I caught the answer to Dave. I'm assuming that was about the season finale last year against Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
That game, nationwide, they kind of put you on the map. How much? You have to be confident anytime you go out there. But how much confidence did a game like that give you as a professional athlete?
A lot, but I've always been a confident guy. Of course, it gave me a lot of confidence. Just to show the world that, that I could play this game. But that was new to the world, older me. So like I said, I'm gonna come out there to, this where we are as a defense, offense team. We're gonna go out there with the same smoke, man. At the end of the day, man, this game count as well.
Different quarterback this time around with J.J. McCarthy. He hasn't played a lot of football in the NFL, but what challenges could he present to you guys as a defense?
Still a good quarterback, man. Like I said before, he's the first round pick, talented, doggish. Like I said, we saw the game. He had against the Bears. After he made a mistake, he was able to be resilient and come back, and that goes to show you his mindset right there. So, like I said, you can't go into this game thinking he's a pushover, because he's a very resilient guy, talented young player. So, like I said, we got to approach this game, man, the same way we would approach Patrick Mahomes or whoever.
Still a division game,
yeah.
too. Does that add to the fire, too, whenever
it all count? Every game count, man. Every game. The goal, like I say, is to go 1-0 every week. So every game count. You can't get caught sleeping. That goes to show you, like, some of those trap games. You can't, you got to approach the game attack everyone, because everyone's prey.
Does the matchup with Justin still give you extra juice, or is it kind of been there, done that? You guys have matched up a bunch already.
Yeah, we've matched up a lot. Like I say, all respect to him. He's an all world talent. Arguably the best, receiver in the league. But like I say, my confidence always through the roof.
Oh, Meek's in trouble now.
Why's that?
Oh, he's in trouble, dude. So when I watched this yesterday, I cringed a little bit because, and I love Meek, but when he said JJ was arguably the best receiver in the league, like, 14's gonna have something to say about that. I'm on Ross St. Brown. I'm like, dude, what are you saying? What's going on here? I'm just playing, but yeah. Look, Justin Jefferson is, like he said, an all-world talent. He's an all-world player. I mean, he's one of the best to do it, in the league. But you have that dog eat dog mentality, man, and one of them's going to eat, and one of them's not. I'm expecting Amik Robertson to have a good game. I'm expecting the Lions to put themselves in a good position to win. And I do believe that Amik is going to draw this matchup simply because it's not going to be Terrian, even if he is able to play. And I haven't paid attention. Honestly, yesterday was a wild day for me. But I have not paid attention to the injury report, which I'll bring in here in just a moment and kind of walk through. And I haven't paid attention to the trajectory of Terrian Arnold this week. But that'll all come out tomorrow when I do the keys to the game. Plan on doing a pregame show tomorrow, by the way, because last night I was supposed to do gripes and hype, but I had other things to tend to here. And I'll get it done tomorrow. So we'll do that probably 9 or 10 a.m. At the end of the day, man, look, he is so level-headed in that every game it matters. Like every game you have to pay attention to everything. There's no layups in the NFL. These I don't care if they're 0-10. That team can still beat you. And so he understands that. He understands how important it is to make sure that their players know that each and every week you need to go 1-0. The clock starts over. You don't worry about what your record is. You don't worry about what you did last week. That ends 24 hours after the game. Now you have to go 1-0 again. And so it'll be interesting to see how this game shapes out, but I feel like this game could go either way for us. And until I dig deep into it tonight, I really don't know just yet. I have those 5 bold takes for you, but I really don't know just yet.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts on Amik?
Well, Amik, I think he's going to be just fine. This guy has turned into my favorite player for this season. Getting to talk to him, he's the same in person as you see on TV, talks the same way, talks the same game, and I love it. He's going out every game to get not just one interception or turnover or forced fumble. He's going out there to get multiple every single game. And that's the attitude you need to have and the mindset that you need to have going into each and every single game. And he's had a couple good games against the old Minnesota Vikings. So this is going to be an interesting one this weekend to see if he travels with Justin Jefferson or if they pass him off, or if Terrian Arnold goes with him, or what they decide to do with the cornerbacks this weekend. And up next, I think you wanted to get into the 5 bold takes that I had for this weekend.
Yeah, we can do that. But real quick, let me recap.
All right.
Let me recap Ahmed Hassanin and protected players.
Oh, you found it out. All right.
Yeah. So the International Pathway Program, like I expected, it works for the 90-man roster only.
Okay.
But there is one exception. You can have a 17th practice squad player. Now, I don't believe that the Lions would put him on the practice squad. I really don't. Unless they were okay with protecting him every week. You can only have 4 players protected, and that starts on Tuesday, and it goes through kickoff. and then you're going to have to re-protect him on the next Tuesday. So unless they plan on doing that, I don't see them putting him on the practice squad. But there is no international pathway program for the 53-man roster. If he's not elevated to the 53-man roster, he can occupy that 17th slot on the practice squad. Game day elevation. You can obviously add an IPP player from the practice squad, can be elevated to the active roster 3 times per season, just like anybody else. And then like any other player, you would have to be signed to the 53-man or then let go. You couldn't remain on the practice squad. So if the Lions are going to bring him back, I believe that this is probably what would happen. And maybe not. But you'd have to burn a 53-man roster spot to bring him back. But let's just be real about something. He's a free agent, right? I believe he's still a free agent right now. He does not necessarily have to sign with anyone. So if the ultimate plan is, Ahmed wants to play for the Lions, does he really need to re-sign? Could he just stay in the dark a little bit until the Lions absolutely need him? Because it's not like you're going to bring him back and then shut him down and put him on IR. You could bring him back and put him on IR, and then he's down for 4 weeks. But there might be a rule inside that rule that if you do put him on IR, then I don't know if he'd be done for the season.
Well, you have to remember also, there's only 8 slots that you can put someone on 4-week IR and bring them back.
Right. And then you get 2 extras in the playoffs. At least the way I understood it. So let me ask this one more question here. If you bring Ahmed back after the injury settlement, can he be placed on IR? So he would have to sustain a new injury to be placed on IR. And so if he was eligible, the IR stint would then follow the standard rules, minimum 4 games. So he can't come back from the injury settlement and be placed on IR. Unless it's unless it's a new injury. The waiting period. So after the injury settlement ends, the player cannot re-sign with the same team until 3 weeks plus the length of the original settlement has passed. And I don't remember ever seeing anything printed by anyone that said, okay, the injury settlement is 8 weeks, and then he can return week 12. The 3 weeks, and then he can come back week 12. I never saw that anywhere, and I don't know why. I don't know why that's not valid information. I think it's valid information. I would like to know. I mean, it's great to say, yeah, he could be back week 12, but what are we basing it on? That's what I need to know. What are we basing it on? So, I don't know, man.
Yeah, the thing came out from Justin Rogers, and he's in the know. If I'm going to trust anybody's word, it's going to be his that
for sure
will be back in 1 or 2 weeks. Yeah. And that's the reason I follow Justin, and I'm one of his founding members. So I paid $150 in the beginning to have full access to absolutely everything he does, and I'm supposed to be able to get Zoom calls with him and stuff, but he always does them at weird times that I can't make it.
Yeah, you can still become a founding member on his thing if you guys are interested. I think it's $150 still.
Yeah, it's $150 a year.
Yeah. And otherwise I think the monthly amount still gets you.
Yeah, he's got cheaper ones.
Still gets you access to everything.
Yeah. Oh, I might have got something back from him. Nope, I didn't.
So I guess the question is, how long was his Injury settlement. We don't know.
Yeah. Nobody knows.
Unless I just totally missed it. All right, so let's go through these bold takes.
All right. So I thought, what better time than now on Friday to come out with 5 bold takes for this weekend's game? All right. Now, my number one, it's a layup. This is someone that we've been talking about a lot today. And we talked about John Morton wanting to get him more involved. Well, I think he's going to get really involved. And I did do this on DraftKings. JMO will be more involved to the tune of 100 yards and a touchdown. If you remember back to JMO's rookie season, his very first catch and his very first touchdown was a bomb from Jared Goff against the Vikings, and I think he's going to do it again this time. My second one, Jahmyr Gibbs will score 2 or more touchdowns.
Hold on, are we going back and forth? What are we doing here?
Sure, we can do that. You want to do your first one?
Well, no, I thought that. So the bold takes, we each have 5 of what possibly could happen in this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, one of mine is crazy. It's going to be really hard.
All right. So the one on JMO, I mean, obviously 2 days ago, before Morton and JMO came out yesterday with what was going on, and before Dan Campbell had spoke to some of the issues that were going on, that they were looking at, I immediately thought that this was going to be the time for JMO. Like, this was going to be the JMO game for him to get back. I mentioned it yesterday to Paul, I believe, during the time that he was on. I just have this feeling. Now, I haven't looked at all the matchups yet, but I have a feeling that this is going to be the breakout game for JMO. Why or why not? I'm not totally sure on, other than I think John Morton has to kind of, shit or get off the pot moment with Jameson Williams, get him more involved. It's a home game. It's a divisional opponent. It's time to get things cooking. He has not been utilized. And I think that when you go in week by week and you start to evaluate a team, it's, okay, well, JMO hasn't been used, or we're just going to bracket JMO. Well, then that means that the Lions need to do something different to force Kevin O'Connell to put more energy and emphasis on other players. Getting Sam Laporta more involved in this game initially will open up JMO. And I think that's the reason why. I think that it's more so Sam Laporta has to have a better game. And if he does, JMO's going to go off. So I'm pairing those two together. That is my initial bold take of the weekend for this game, is Sam Laporta is the precursor to JMO. So I'm looking for those two to have a good game. And by good for Sam Laporta, that can be as simple as like 45 yards and a TD. It doesn't have to be a ton, but based on what he's done this year, that's better than his average. So I'm going to put Laporta in that 60-yard range in a TD, and JMO's going to follow suit. I'm not going 100. I'm going to go 85 yards for JMO and a TD. But combined, those two are going to have, 150 yards and 2 TDs combined.
There you go. And my second one is Jahmyr Gibbs will score 2 touchdowns on the Flores defense.
Ooh, say that again.
Jahmyr Gibbs will score 2 touchdowns on the Flores defense.
Okay.
He's had really good success going up against Flores in the past.
Okay. I got to look something up.
All right.
So for my second one, before I get into, hold on, go back. For my second one, before I go into the running backs and that, I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball here.
Okay.
J.J. McCarthy's supposed to get the start. So assuming that he's going to get the start, I don't care who's in at corner or safety. The Lions are going to get 2 interceptions in this game.
Nice.
Lions are getting two interceptions, and there might be a total of 3 takeaways. in this game, but I'm going to say that, with JJ McCarthy is going to be under some pressure. I think that, my next bold take kind of hinges on the defense too. With him under pressure, I think he's going to make some wild mistakes, and I think he's going to pay for them dearly. So 2 picks by the Detroit Lions defense.
All right. My third one, also with the defense, Jack Campbell will have 15 tackles. 15. Have his best game of the season.
Do me a favor. Go into your the daily presser breakdown.
Okay.
And put your hot takes in there, so that you just write them in there as you're saying them. Like while I'm saying mine, write yours in there so we have it. So my first one, JMO, 85 yards, 1 TD, and that's combined with Sam Laporta, 60 yards and 1 TD. My second one, 2 picks for the defense. Now, again, I'm not sure where they're coming from just yet. I'll outline that tomorrow. And again, I got to know who's playing before I can really outline that. So my third one is this. Oh, Aiden Hutchinson is absolutely going to sack JJ McCarthy.
Oh, you're going to like my next one.
Absolutely, he's going to sack him. But I think that there's going to be another player that gets involved too. And that is going to be Aleem McNeil. I think Aleem McNeil is going to, in his second game, he's going to pop in and get a sack. So at least 2 sacks on the game. Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil, 1 sack each. Or it could be a combo sack. They could combo it up together and get a half a sack each. And if that happens, well, then there's going to be another sack that happens at some point. And that third guy, if they end up getting a combo, that third guy is going to be Tyleik Williams.
All right. So my next one. With Christian Darrisaw not practicing yesterday and Brian O'Neill, the other tackle, being limited with a knee, I'm going with Aiden Hutchinson coming off of his historic new contract. He's going to have himself a game. Aiden Hutchinson will have 3.5 sacks of JJ McCarthy. He's going to have a coming out party against his former quarterback.
You say 3.5?
3.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're right in line with the same thinking for me. Is okay, their offensive line is really beat up.
Yes.
It's been atrocious. And so when you combine the fact of a lot of pressure on the outside, and you might not have any tackles in the game, right, that have started outside of the backups, they're going to have to do something, right, to stop the pressure from the outside. And that's where I think the inside is going to open up. Now, I'm going to do film review tonight, or actually this afternoon. I took some time off today from everything else I got going on. So I'm going to do some film review this afternoon. And I think that's going to still paint the same picture for me. I think I understand the Vikings offensive line enough to know right now that they're going to have to slide to the outside to stop Aiden. And even if AQM is healthy, they're going to have to do something to stop him. That's going to leave the center of this offense open. When I go back and look at the running backs, because that was that 4 for you now? 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's my 4th one.
Okay, so
and there's one reason I think that Hutch is going to have 3.5 sacks, because Hutch has not had that breakout game like he had last year where he had 4.5 sacks, and it was against a depleted offensive line. Well, this time it's on both sides of the line, not just on one side. It's both sides. Whether they play or they don't play doesn't matter. Darrisaw or O'Neill, it doesn't matter if either or both of them play to me, because they're both banged up. They're both not healthy. And what did they let Carson do last week? Carson had 5 sacks last week, 5 versus the Chargers. So I see, even though JJ McCarthy says he's 100%, we don't know if that ankle's 100%. And that's why they've been keeping him out this whole time. So even though he's a little more mobile, I'm going to say they still get to him 5 or more times total. And I think that Hutch is going to have 3.5 sacks.
I thought Hutch had a 2.5 or 3.5 sack game this year already. I think maybe a couple of them are called back, right?
Yeah,
I think that's why.
Yeah. He had another sack forced fumble that would have counted if not for penalty.
Still waiting on some info to pop up. All right, so let me get into my.
Did you do your number 4 yet?
No, I'm about to right now. Okay, number 4. Number 4. I'm trying to think who else is coming back this week.
For us?
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else that's really coming back.
Terry and Arnold, Taylor Decker, Kirby Joseph, Avante Maddox, Alkadi Mohammed, Craig Reynolds, Malcolm Rodriguez, Daniel Thomas, and Sione Vaki. That's the guys on the practice report.
Okay. I'm going to go Jared Goff. So Jared Goff, he's had some incredible games this year already, but he really hasn't settled into, playing the perfect game or having that giant game.
Statement game.
Yeah, really. Where everything's cooking, everything's working. And I think that when JMO, explodes this weekend and he's hitting everybody, I think that this is going to happen. So not only is Jared Goff going to have a really good game, he will not have to throw the ball more than 26 times.
There we go. I like that.
But I'm going to go 23 of 26. 240 yards.
Ooh, I like that.
So he's averaging a little bit over 10 yards a clip. And he's going to throw 3 TDs. No picks.
Does he catch a touchdown?
No, not doing that. I'm not going that far with it.
No trick play today.
But I'm going to go 23 of 26, 240 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions, 0 sacks.
Ooh, I like that one. That's probably my favorite one out of all of them on that stat sheet.
Perfect passer rating.
Nice.
There you go. So it's really the perfect passer rating that I'm calling in this game, but I think 23 of 26, 240, 3 TDs, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks, perfect passer rating. I know that's a lot, right? And I know it's a ton, but the thing for me is in 240 is not a ton of yards, but again, I think it happens because you're going to have JMO involved and he's going to get, 30 or 40 1 or 2 times, or at least one, right? It extends it a little bit. I think we're going to use the screen game a little bit more. And I think that when you utilize the screen game with somebody like Jahmyr Gibbs, he's going to be able to explode for 17, 20, 25 yards off of at least one of them. And so, those are just, I guess, my observations so far that, I think that Jahmyr Gibbs will take a screen for more than 20. That's not one of my calls, but I'm gonna write that down that I said it.
Mm-hmm.
I got this bad habit of not recording or keeping the receipts to talk about later.
There you go.
All right, so you're number 5.
My number 5 is my biggest and boldest take of the week. This is number 5 right here. The Detroit Lions will put up a 50 burger on Minnesota and break their own record of 55 points that they scored on November 27th of 1997. So we're going to put up at least 56 points on the Minnesota Vikings this weekend.
Did you say 56 points?
56 points.
Jesus. I don't know about all that, but that would be that'd be pretty incredible. That'd be insane. All right, so now I'm going to end with Jahmyr Gibbs. Oh, this isn't correct. There's no way this is correct. No, I guess it is. So cumulative data, now I have not cross-referenced this, but from 23 to 25, so really it's 23 to 24, those 4 games. No, this can't be right. I got to look something up. I can't make the last one without knowing at least a little bit of history. So I'll be prepared for the next one. But okay. I have to look this up.
I kind of dropped this on you this morning. I didn't know if you were looking at my stuff last night or not.
Well, I was for a minute, but I kept getting everything. You put like 1,000 words in, and I was like, oh my God, what just happened?
Well, I was just trying to come up with a segment and talking about contracts.
Yeah, we'll get into that here in just a sec. All right.
Oh, we can do it today or.
Well, today's it.
Day. Yeah. All right.
All right. So, and you could save it for Monday or Tuesday too.
Yeah, because I'm running up on time here pretty soon. This is going to be an epic weekend. I got my email from the Detroit Lions yesterday. I will be going down on the field after the game for pictures. So bringing my best friend from Minnesota, who is a Vikings fan. And I got some sad news for him yesterday. Now, I did fill out the waiver for him so he can go down on the field, but it explicitly says in the emails that he cannot wear any of the opposing team's attire in any photos that we get taken. So he's going to take his jersey off to get his picture taken at Ford Field.
I don't understand why they do that.
I don't either. I was like, man, this is my best friend, and he happens to be a Vikings fan. Why not let him get his picture taken? So I'm going to see what they say when we get down there.
No, they'll make him take it off.
Will they?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. I don't understand. I don't understand why.
I'll sneak a few pics with my phone before they do the professional photo. Now it'd be really cool if they did that with a player or two when they do that after the game. Have a former player, have Lomas Brown come down or Dan Miller or somebody, take their picture with you at Ford Field. That'd be kind of cool.
All right, so for my final here, Jahmyr Gibbs, I think he's going to have a pretty decent game. Minnesota allowed 149.3 yards, or they allow 149.3 yards on the ground when they're away. The last 3 games, they have allowed on average 130 yards per game. In the last game, they allowed 207 yards on the ground. So for that, their average this season is 130 on the defense. I think that Jahmyr Gibbs, and it's no shade at David Montgomery, I think it's just going to depend on how Johnny Moe uses them. But if Jahmyr's cooking, like you can't stop. So Jahmyr Gibbs, you said 2 TDs, right?
2 TDs. Is he going to have his first 200-yard game?
Now, are those TDs on the ground only?
I don't know. I just 2 total TDs.
Okay. Well, for me, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to do $125.
So just so everyone knows, all of my bold takes, if there was a way to bet it on DraftKings, I did a $10 bet on each one of those.
Okay, so for my final one here with Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm going to do 125 yards on the ground, and I'm going to do 75 yards through the air.
Nice. I like it.
And 1 TD through the air and 1 TD on the ground. He's going to have, I believe, I don't think this is his first 200 scrimmage yard game.
No, he did on the last game. He had 218.
Yeah, so we're going to 200 plus scrimmage yards for Gibbs. That is a wild take. Either way, I think he's going to have a really good game. And I do believe, I'm going to add this to it too, he's going to take a screen for 20 plus. And that might be where he scores, is that 20 plus yard screenplay. All right, so you said you are up on time. You're not good now after 10?
Yeah, just a little after 10. I we're getting kind of close if we're going to get into something that's longer.
No, I was going to run the video. I was going to watch the Pascal video right now. So
okay.
We went a little bit long, but okay.
Cuz that's like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
So before you start that, I'll have to dip out.
All right, let's get into your final thoughts of the day.
Let's see. My final thoughts of the day. I think that this game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions is set up for the Lions to have a really big game. The Vikings just they're crumbling. And now they're switching back to a quarterback who's only played 2 games, and in all but one quarter of those 2 games has been pretty horrendous. He's thrown more picks than he has touchdowns. He's totally unproven. And I think they're going to have some bumps in the road for the rest of the season going with J.J. McCarthy. And they were going to have these bumps whether he played the whole season or not. The Carson Wentz experiment failed miserably. So I see the Detroit Lions having a very decisive victory this weekend. And even all the Minnesota fans are saying the same thing. You don't see many people talking about the Vikings winning this game. And if you go by DraftKings, 96% of bets this week have been on the Detroit Lions and only 4% on the Minnesota Vikings to win this game. So that's my final thoughts for the week. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. I don't think we're going to be on Monday or Tuesday. It sounds like me for sure on Monday. If we're on Tuesday, I'll give it a try. But I'm not sure about Will, if he's going to be on or not.
Yeah. So Monday I'm off. I got to go to Cleveland Clinic. I got to go do, I do a lot of the same kind of crap that Pascal's doing. So, so I'll be in Cleveland all day on Monday, and then I'll be back late Monday night. We'll just see how I'm feeling.
Okay.
If I can go Tuesday, I'll let you know. But either way, man, have a good weekend. I'll see you at the game, and then I want to get in. I want to get into. Go ahead.
We have to meet up before the game because I got something for you.
Yeah, we never meet up this whole season.
Yeah.
So I should get there. I'm going to get there early.
I'm going to tell you, we're going in early. We're probably going to be in line by 10:30 because.
Yeah, which gate you going to go in?
We want that bobblehead, the Sanders, over by Barry.
Okay, I'll meet you over there. Yeah, and if anybody wants to sell, if you're going to the game and you want to sell any of those Amon-Ra St. Brown bobbleheads, please.
I've had 20 people message me.
Yeah, please get a hold of me because there's someone that I want to really get one to, and I'm assuming that they're going to have enough, for all of us to get one, but I doubt it.
No, 20,000 I think is what they're giving away.
So I'll be there super early and they're only going to give you one, but if you would like to sell them, I'll be more than happy to purchase them. Just hit me up, man. You can call the show line, leave me a message, text it, or mailbag at rockdown.com and let me know that you got one for sale. But otherwise, I'll see you at the game, Eric, man, and safe travels to you. Okay.
Yep. We'll see you, man.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Or we'll see you. I'm going to get into Josh Pascal right now. I'm a little disappointed, man. This video only has about 10,000 views on it. Like I would have expected a lot more by now. Especially for the Lions.
Before I get started, I have a couple updates that I wanted to give you. Josh Pascal and the skin lesions that he had removed from the bottom of his right foot. Well, I'm sorry to say that those came back as a malignant melanoma.
God, just gut-wrenching, man.
Josh was always the kid that did everything he was supposed to do. He always was really responsible. He used to come home from school and do his homework as soon as he got home.
When Josh was a kid, we could never go in the store without him getting some type of ball, a basketball, football, it was something. He was always into sports. That was his thing. He always loved it from a very early age.
We shared a room until I was in middle school. He would sleep with his basketball. And in the middle of the night, it would always fall out the bed. So everybody knew, like, when you heard the bouncing in the middle of the night, it was the basketball falling out the bed, right?
Me and my sister, just growing up, sharing the same room, we grew up together. We're only 2 years apart. Just like any other siblings, like, you fight, but you love each other, and we really had a great bond growing up.
It would be 11 o'clock at night, and so I'd go downstairs in the basement and get on the treadmill. We had this old treadmill I would get on, and I'd get my sister to come down there because I was scared of the dark. She'd watch TV while I run on the treadmill, and that was at 5 years old, trying to make weight for Little League.
That level of discipline in elementary school is insane. Like, we're at McDonald's, and I'm like, I want a Happy Meal, and he's like, I want a salad.
Because of Josh's maturity, he really didn't waver when it came to leaving home. He always told us, when I go away to school, you're not gonna be able to come to drive down the street to come and see me. And so he was ready when it came time for it, he was ready.
Well, I had a relationship with the Pascal family because of Josh's older brother, Trayvon. So Trayvon was a player for us also. And Josh was just a pup. He would come up with his parents for games to watch his brother Trayvon play.
I recruited Josh, but actually his brother was a GA for me. And his brother Trayvon said, Coach, man, you need to recruit my brother. Probably one of the most favorite guys that I recruited. I mean, he became like a son to me.
Kentucky was more of a family atmosphere, and I really saw how they cared about people outside of ball. Of course, every freshman has growing pains, and so it felt good to have, like, your big brother there with you to help you through those. I mean, at the end of the day, that's something that you always dreamed of, to be able to go from Little League to high school and then be able to play in college, especially on SEC level.
When he first arrived on campus, he was special. Now, he was different. He was not your usual freshman.
We really, really had high expectations, and Josh didn't disappoint his freshman year. We were like, this kid is going to be top 10 pick, top 5 pick. He was that explosive.
Right, it's blocked! The freshman Josh Pascal gets the block punt.
2017 was Josh's true freshman year, and I just arrived, and I said, oh, yeah, who's this number 4? And he was dominating.
So I wanted to be an all-SEC player my next year. That would be my first year starting, so I wanted to earn a starting job.
Josh Pascal, he is going to be some player for Kentucky for 4 right there. He's going to have to play a bigger role as an every down player. He's a true freshman that is talented, but everybody in the building respects the kid and just his work ethic.
We were going into that season pretty doggone excited, understanding we had not only Josh Allen coming back, but having Josh Pascal back on the other side.
So many people had expectations for him to have this great year coming off of a great freshman year, right? And, you know, you have all these plans here that you think that you're going to do, but then things change, right?
During that 2018 summer, I do remember getting my ankles taped and noticing a spot at the bottom of my foot, but it was really my trainers who noticed it.
At the end of spring ball, he complained about the bottom of his foot bothering him a little bit. Well, I remember looking at it. It looked like the tip of a magic marker.
When Josh came, he thought it was just a blood blister, but it just didn't look what a normal blood blister would look like. There was a little bit of asymmetry to it, and so I said, Josh, we got to get this thing checked out.
And so they sent me to a podiatrist, and the podiatrist started digging into my foot, and he said, or this doesn't look like a plantar wart, because that's originally what they thought it would be. And they recommended me to go to the dermatologist, and then he starts digging through my foot and thinks that it's appropriate just to take a biopsy to make sure they rule out anything. And so once they took the biopsy, the preliminary results came back and it said abnormal cells, so they just went in and decided to remove it.
I was at work and they called and they said it looked like it's a possibility of it being melanoma. By that evening, we were on a flight going to Lex.
After he had the first surgery, he was on the scooter, determined to get this boot off of his foot that day so he can start getting ready for the season. I just remember how the shift in the tone once the doctor came in the room, and she says, unfortunately, the road doesn't end here, that they thought it was stage 1 or 1B, but she said we were looking at stage 2, possibly stage 3. And it was like all the air got sucked out the room.
It ended up being stage 3B, and that it had reached twice the depth that it needed to travel to around different parts of my body, and it traveled to the lymph nodes in my groin of skin cancer. That's something that I would have never thought I would hear walking into that room.
I remember me and my wife standing there, and when they came back and they told us, you know, it was just like, wow. It kind of like numbed me a little bit.
So I wanted to pause it here for just a brief moment, and this is, like, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, and I don't want to make light of this situation at all. When I heard this last night, I mean, number one, I was crushed that it went to stage 3B. But I have questions, man. I have so many questions. You go to a podiatrist and they start digging into it, and you heard what he said. They thought it was like a plantar's wart. And so if they were trying to excise it and pull it out, you know, and you know, you got this big old, you know, hole in your foot, then afterwards, you disturb those cancer cells. And that is like one of the number one things you don't do with cancer. And that's why biopsies, I mean, you need to seek your own medical treatment, but that's why biopsies are so frowned upon, because there's other ways to figure out what type of cancer it is before you do biopsies, because if you disturb those cells, they can quickly get to another part of your body. And if that happens, it's stage 3, right? So podiatrist goes in and starts digging into this. That's pretty disturbing to me, because that could have disrupted it enough. And your foot, I mean, the bottom of your foot, it's so rich in lymphatic vessels that the cancer cells can carry to nearby lymph nodes and beyond pretty quickly. And the fact that he got up into his groin like right away, that's the part that is so disturbing to me, because you had 2 doctors before oncology that dug into this thing, as opposed to getting oncology involved in the beginning. So did that change his trajectory on, you know, or not? You know, and again, I'm not making light of it. I'm just talking through it, because I hate to see this for anybody. I've been through it myself, my sister, Megan, and others. And I hate to see the situation where maybe if it wasn't dug into, that he wouldn't be in this situation. But I don't know the full background. We'll never know the full background on all the imaging and scans and things of that nature. They do show a little bit, but this is just like, it's just gonna be really hard for me not to get emotional, because I could just see myself in his situation, laying in that hospital, in that chair, right, laying in a hospital bed, and you're having cancer removed, or you're going through treatment. I've been through so much treatment, it's not even funny. It definitely paints a bigger picture on life and how important life is. Football is not, and all this dude wants to play, man. That's all he wants to do is play. I really like his message, though. We'll keep on going.
It hit me with a ton of bricks, not knowing what to do next. This child is 19 years old, like in the prime. He looks so healthy. How could this be happening?
The word cancer is not a good word to hear, and you don't see it that often in this business. You just don't.
That's never the news you hear as a young, healthy person. You know, Josh had worked really, really hard that offseason to train himself. He was in the best shape of his life going into 2018. So we were all in disbelief.
Anytime you hear the word cancer, it sort of stops you in your tracks and you feel helpless. Now it's not about wins and losses. This is about life and death.
It rocked not just me, it rocked everybody. It rocked the community. It shook our whole building. I think our players didn't understand, and I think they just thought, when you heard cancer, like, it was going to be the worst.
It was gut-wrenching and broke my heart then, and it breaks my heart right now to think about it.
We were waiting to hear, is it going to be chemo, radiation, or anything like, what's the treatment plan post-operatively? So we immediately got him to Marquis Cancer Center. And the director over there, Dr. Mark Evers.
I was asked to see Josh after the dermatologist had made the diagnosis of an acral lentiginous melanoma on the sole of his foot. There are different types of skin cancers, some such as squamous cell or basal cell. They will grow but locally, and they hardly ever metastasize, as opposed to a melanoma, which is a fairly aggressive skin cancer.
I feel like the natural response would be, why me? And that's something that I feel like I wrestled with at the beginning. You work so hard to get where you want to go, and you think that nothing is going to get in the way when it comes to adversity you may face. But I also don't think it's a coincidence that I gave my life to Christ and then this happened to me.
I met Josh when he was a true freshman here at the university, a young man that desired to do what was right. And so Josh and I began a great relationship, and he started coming through the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, our weekly huddle meeting. I'll never forget one particular Monday night, Josh pulled me aside. He said, do you have some time to talk? And we talked about wanting to grow in his faith. And then right after that, he made a decision to get baptized here at his local church.
Before that, my life was football all around. Like, since the moment I was a child until that time, my identity honestly was in football before I gave my life to Christ. And so I feel like once that was taken away from me, it was more of leaning on my faith and knowing that through my faith I was going to be healed. And if I wasn't, then I would be healed on the other side.
Josh always told me that he had a peace. And I think what makes Josh's diagnosis with cancer unique is that he came to know the Lord before his diagnosis. So then when he gets diagnosed, he just felt like God had a plan. And he was okay with his future no matter what that held.
During that time, Jesus was everything. Now he is then, and honestly, throughout that time, I couldn't have gotten through it without him.
I'll never forget, we had went to church as a team. Josh kept complaining, and he tapped me and he said, Coach, he said, my foot is in pain. And I remember, I said, all right, we're gonna just walk out, because it was a big service, walk out, and Josh Allen came with us. And drive him back to the facility, the team ain't back yet. And I remember Josh Allen, he says to me, Coach, man, why this happened to him? And I never forget what Josh said. He said, a lot of people couldn't handle this. He said, I really believe God put me in a position to handle this.
It was days that I had that were down, and it was days that I rejoiced. Being young and also being Black, this was something that I didn't know could impact me the way that it was going to.
Melanoma is less common in African Americans, and particularly at that young age. So oftentimes we will advise for something called a sentinel node biopsy. And if the melanoma has spread to the lymph nodes, then you would advise a therapy that we call immunotherapy. So what immunotherapy does is essentially having your own immune cells attack your own cancer has really revolutionized how we treat melanoma. Josh would not be around, I don't think, without the benefits of immunotherapy.
Everything just started. It just happened so quickly. And I think 2 days later, he was in for the first surgery.
The next surgery was going to be obviously a little bit more extensive, where they were going to have to take out a pretty good chunk of the bottom of his foot and then do a skin graft off of the lower leg.
The melanoma was probably about the worst spot for an athlete that one could have, which required a big surgery to remove the tumor and then to have reconstructive surgery, so a flap had to be moved to take the place of that tissue. So he basically had to learn how to walk and maneuver all over again.
Seeing him go through treatment, you can see the changes in him as a mother, as a dad, and as a sister, brother. You know, it hurt to see your child go through, I'm thankful for the team that he had around him. He couldn't have had better treatment anywhere else. You know, God sent him there for that time and that season.
Josh always approached it with dignity. Every treatment, he never went in feeling sorry for himself. He never went in having a bad day. He always went in with a positive attitude.
Josh had immunotherapy for 1 year, and it can really knock you for a loop in terms of being tired.
For me personally, I had a choice to either give in to what I was thinking is football over. Felt like I made the choice every day to wake up and attack each and every day. I was fighting for my life, and I was also fighting to be able to play football again.
There was times when he goes to cancer treatment, then he shows up in the afternoon for rehab, and you can tell he's wiped out. But physically, he just keeps pushing through.
Josh talks about one thing, and that's return to play. He never once acknowledged the negative sides of the word cancer.
It was very hard, and I'm sure it was shocking to him and his family and everybody. But once he got a grip on it and got his arms around it, he was just very matter of fact of, I'm gonna handle this, I'm gonna do the treatment, and I'm gonna be fine.
In dealing with Josh, you have to protect Josh from himself. Because regardless if he has feeling or not, he's not gonna stop.
His attitude was fantastic. It was totally focused on, I'm going to get better, let's move forward, my health is first, and then football next.
To set a goal for myself to be able to play again that season was very good for me personally, just to get back on the field with my brothers that year.
You gain strength and inspiration from him, and I think it made the guys work harder. And every time we broke down, you know, we would break down on JP.
JP on me, JP on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Something beautiful about that whole time was just my teammates' reactions to everything. To see them support me through the whole thing.
So much as was the influence of Josh and his spirit and his energy and his persistence and toughness and grit that just sort of personified what that team was. He would hit every obstacle head on and then continue to just push forward.
He would go through his treatment and he wants to go to the facility after treatment. I'm like, Josh, just go home. Let's just get some rest. And he was like, I want to be with my brothers. I want to be with the team. He saw so much strength in that UK organization.
Everybody was touched by watching his perseverance, touched by. You never felt like Josh was really worried about his future. He was going to be worried about getting healthy in the moment and then continuing to take the next step in his journey.
We knew emotionally it was going to be demanding because he'd worked so hard in the off season. Now he's got to rehab from a couple of different surgeries to remove the cancer, and he can't be out there playing football, doing his passion with his teammates. And Josh was a remarkable human being who always stayed positive, always had a good outlook.
First main thing was we got to get him back on his feet. And so it would be get off the scooter, do weight bearing, do impact weight bearing, meaning more where the foot leaves the ground and you land on it. Put him in the water a lot once the wound was clear to go in water. Then you get him feet on the ground, weightlifting. I honestly do not remember a day when he was down and distraught.
You want to keep his mind as much as you can on what's ahead in front of him. You're just worried about coming in that weight room, just attacking that day. And once you attack that day, you just continue after that stack days. Lord bless you, you see another day, attack that day.
The Kentucky staff did a great job of rehabbing me back. And so I had to learn how to use the inside of my foot again. I had to learn how to explode off of it. I knew what it was going to take to get there. But at the end of the day, the only thing I had was the next day.
On surface, he was saying, I'm gonna get back and play football. But I think in his spirit, when he got by himself, he had some moments.
I would go to a park about 15 minutes from campus, and it was right on the lake. I would go just to clear my head, to hear nature and spend some time with the Lord.
But the reason I fell in love with all of this
was because of the simplicity aspect of everything. And like back home, like it's just so, everything's so fast.
Sorry, I got to pause one more brief moment here. You know, earlier when I started the show and I said my piece with it, right, that I'm extremely disappointed in a lot of the fan base. This guy is anything but a bum or a punk or whatever, you know, people have been saying about him. He's one of the strongest dudes alive. The amount of energy that this takes that he does not have going through this, the amount of determination and toughness, mental toughness, not to mention the amount of emotions that you're going through. This type of stuff usually breaks people completely, and they don't bounce back. You have to be an extremely strong individual to be able to go through this without playing football. Adding that layer of you know, becoming a professional athlete, playing at a high level, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. You know who you are. You should really be ashamed of yourselves.
And move so fast, and then like I came to Kentucky, and then I would come here, and everything just so slow. Like I would come here and I would think about like how could I get better, like what do I have to do to get better. I would pray, and it was just more of a opportunity to like self-reflect and really like build goals for myself. It just really became like a peaceful spot for me. And I feel like this is where I found solitude.
He just likes the peace, the tranquility, you know, just the simple life.
I would just drive a lot in Kentucky, like drive on the back roads, and you literally just can't forget about anything. Like I just go on these roads and I feel like it recenters me. And these roads get windy. I kind of had to accept was the fact that my identity.
Think about that for a moment, what he just said. The parallels between, you know, I've traveled through Kentucky more times than I can count. Going back and forth between here and North Carolina. How he said that, you know, he just loves to drive on the roads because it would center him. But then he says on the back side of that, but these roads get windy. That's exactly what it's like to have to go through something like this. You are on the windiest roads. That beyond every bend, there's another turn, and that turn, there's something else that you're going through. And then you get to the next turn, and you got to go and face this, and you get to the next turn, and now you've got this in front of you, and it's just another hurdle as you keep winding through the roads, up and down the mountains. And then at some point, you get to a straight and narrow. And that's where he says that he gets centered again. The parallels, man, it's impressive to me that he's able to reflect on all of this and he has peace with it no matter what happens. I'm sure he doesn't want the ultimate outcome, and I hope that ultimate outcome is not coming for him, but he's at peace with all of this, and that really takes a lot of courage.
It wasn't football, and it wasn't like how hard I worked and how much I gave to like the game, and when that all got stripped away from me, that was like my first time where I couldn't cure cancer. Like I wasn't gonna do that, and I couldn't like work this off. It was more like of the fact that I had to truly like surrender. But this was like the first time where I had to figure out like who I was outside of that, and if football was taken away from me, or if like cancer was to like somehow get worse, like where would I go if I died? Sometimes like when I was struggling, and this would kind of like build me back up, like my time here and stuff. So this is probably more of a safe space for me. I wouldn't say I really came here and it went bad or anything. I definitely had hard conversations with myself though, because football seemed like such a far stretch, like after all that. And like the hardest time of everything really came when I started to practice again. I knew the progress that I had made going into my second year, and to practice again, it felt like everything went back to ground zero. And it was different. Like, I couldn't feel half my foot, so my body didn't move the way that I wanted it to. And it kind of felt like it became real in that moment of, I don't know how this is going to affect my future with football.
It was Halloween weekend, and I'm like driving. Like, what is happening? So I pull over and I'm like consoling him, and he's like, I just want to play football. And he breaks down in tears.
As soon as she picked me up, I just started bawling my eyes out, just because it was just hard for me to have that same strength that I did as far as pushing off of my foot. Because my original goal was to be back for the Georgia game that year, because that was one of the biggest games of the year for us.
He will not be able to participate this week. We were trying, we were hopeful. He had been working towards getting some practice time, but he's not ready.
You hold the space when you're watching somebody go through something like that, a pivotal, like, life-changing experience where they're literally fighting for their life. And his breakdown was about football.
That was my first time really getting that emotional over everything that happened, because I felt like I had like so much potential going into that season, and I wanted to help the team out. And I felt like all of my training had just went away because of that 3 months of having to get everything fixed.
Everybody wanted to get him in the game. Everybody wanted to see him sort of be back to Josh, but there was more than just the beating of the cancer. Then it's getting back into football shape. You could tell how bad he wanted to get back in. So he was going to tell you anything you wanted to hear. We had to make sure that he's physically ready to be able to plant, drive, protect himself. You didn't want to do anything that would jeopardize or injure him, going forward.
Because if you know Josh, you know he's going to get back on the field, some shape, some form, somehow. Even if he was holding for the kicker, it doesn't matter what it was. He was going to find a way to get back on the field.
I wanted to be able to make plays, but at the same token, I wanted to be able to move well. I didn't want to go out there and hurt my teammates.
To me, it was just more about, could he withstand tight ends and tackles that's 330 pounds coming at him play after play? How was his response? I remember the first practice he had, I'm looking at him like, I'm not even looking at my position, I'm more just looking at him. And you know what? It didn't take long.
And even though I wasn't able to play against Georgia, I was able to play that following week against Middle Tennessee.
We could have lost that game and I wouldn't have cared. Just seeing him in the warm-ups, and I was like, hell, next to having kids, that's probably the best thing I've seen.
I'll never forget standing in the tunnel, watching Josh as he ran out onto the field for the first time. To understand that, football and sport, can be taken away from you in a moment. But the gratitude that Josh felt to be able to get back out into the field, I'll never forget that.
This is his first action of the year, and he is finally back.
You got to play a game, and you're trying not to you're fighting back.
I'm just thinking about how far the Lord has taken me from 3 months before that until then, and just how our plans don't always line up with the Lord's plans for us, but I know that it was working for his greater good.
I gave him a standing ovation.
Hey, there's a play made by Josh Pascal. Boy,
Great to see him back on the field.
He's still undergoing treatment. He had 3 surgeries. He's being treated monthly for immunotherapy treatments, and this young man has been an amazing example of perseverance for Kentucky.
It was quite the feat for him to go through all of those treatments, go through the rehab process, learning how to walk again, learning how to run again, and to see him on the field, we were just so proud.
The fact that Josh was able to be so physical despite being on immunotherapy was quite phenomenal.
The battle isn't over, and we know that. I spent this afternoon with Josh as he received another treatment, and it's hard to see him going through that at the hospital. But Josh, you amaze us, and we are so proud of you.
It's definitely still things that you have to do after you go into remission.
Early on, he had to get scans twice a week and had to get some ultrasounds to make sure that there was no other melanoma anywhere in his body.
He just wanted to play football. If you can give him anything, just give him back football. I guess our family bonded together around that.
The way he started as a true freshman and then to get the diagnosis, and it's like, man, will he ever play football again? And then he's got to go through the rehab process, and you're watching him cut, and you're like, is he ever going to get back to what he was? And then he was the best player in the SEC his senior year.
Tackled at the 31-yard line, Josh Pascal. He is having himself quite a game.
I'll never forget, I was on my back porch with my kids and watching the TV when it got announced. I mean, it was chaos.
The Detroit Lions select Josh Pascal, defensive end, University of Kentucky.
You would have thought I got drafted that day. I was so happy for him, his family. It was a surreal moment because immediately my mind went back to that day, me, him, and Josh leaving the church. And I'm taking him out because he was in pain. And I was like, man, God is so good. And I remember that Dallas game. I was like, look at this dude.
I remember even coming in here hurt and having to get surgery before I stepped on the field, and then starting against the Cowboys at the Cowboys. And it was just so many emotions of something that you worked for since you were a kid, something that you thought was going to be taken away from you in college, and to be able to play football in the NFL, and it was beautiful, and I was super grateful and thankful.
Looking, gonna get hit, gonna go down. Josh Pascal got it.
Football has been hard post-cancer even, no matter the injuries, no matter the surgeries, no matter the setbacks. I feel like the perseverance aspect is everything, to be able to keep going, but I also am exactly where I wanted to be when I was a child.
Get ready to understand that just because you win this one battle, you have to win these battles throughout the rest of your life.
We talk about survivors, and there's always vigilance that still needs to happen.
So I have to do annual skin checks and PET scans just to make sure that there's no new spots that showed up. And if they are, then get those biopsied or get them removed. Last season, they just found a mass in my shoulder, and we had about 3 or 4 ultrasound-guided biopsies to try and figure out what it was.
Again, you hear something that you don't want to hear. We were so thankful when we did get the results back that everything was benign and it was all clear.
It was more of a peace, knowing that I've been through it before, knowing that the Lord had me through it.
Good morning, guys. Today we are going to ask you all to vote on the Ed Block Courage Award winner. The goal here is to kind of exemplify people that have commitment, courage, compassion, inspiration, and oftentimes the attributes that I just described are seen in tough times, right? The person you chose, I have a great deal of admiration and respect for because he showed great character during a very challenging time in his life. I feel that in the midst of adversity, he made the choice to come in here every day and be here for other people. Please join me in congratulating Josh Pascal to being your 2024.
What it means to fight is to give everything that you have. Some days the bucket may be more full than others, but no matter what you have that day, to give it your all. But I tried to push myself to constantly stay joyful throughout the whole time because I wasn't going to let cancer win at the end of the day.
Josh inspired an entire community through what's it look like to persevere through really, really tough adversity.
I feel like I was blessed with the people around me to put a perfect plan together. UK was special because of the people. My life was saved by the trainers, and to be able to catch that early.
Those were the guys who were the real heroes, because it would be a natural inclination to assume that it was nothing more than a blister. To be astute and say, we need to check this out, that was a life-saving move.
I believe that the cancer diagnosis shaped me. It taught me how to fight through adversity. It taught me how to attack a goal, and it taught me, most importantly, how to lean on my faith and to fully trust in Jesus. And it's something where I know it happened to me to be able to help impact other people. And so to be able to go through it and to have the platform that I have to be able to spread awareness about it, even if it just touches one person and they notice something on their body and they get it checked out, that's saving their life.
The key message here is you always need to be hypervigilant. And any abnormality, lump, bump that you see, it needs to be checked out. Regardless of if you're young people can still get cancer.
When I hear the word cancer, I think of triumph, I think of loss, I think of grief, and I also think of victory.
Going through that treatment, he saw some of the other people in the cancer center, and he knew that, hey, this could be a lot worse.
A couple weeks before I got diagnosed, I went to go see a kid. His name was Austin Dunn, and he had brain cancer. He was a cool dude. He was my age. He was from Kentucky. And then I saw him. He came to one of my games, and he had his hair fully grown back. It was in remission and all of that. And so it was good to see him. And then I had came back, and his mom was trying to get in touch with me. And she was like, hey, look, his cancer came back, and basically that he was on his deathbed, and she wanted me to like come see him. And so I went to the hospital and went to go see him, bro, and it was the complete like opposite of what I saw him at. He ended up passing away, and it was just like crazy to see like the parallels and like how things could have turned out.
Once he got to the point where he had his last treatment, and you know they had the traditional ringing the bell, he wouldn't ring it because he said there's somebody in here that can't ring it.
I knew that there were people in there going through things significantly worse than what I was. And realistically, there are people in there who probably aren't here today. I just wanted to be thankful and grateful for the people who helped me through it.
Josh Pascal is one of the most humble, high character, amazing young men that I've ever met. He's a fierce, tough player on the field, but in his heart, he is this compassionate, tender-hearted young man.
I believe that he's endured this to help someone else. If it's just to bring awareness to cancer and melanoma, to bring the good news of the Lord Jesus in the football room, football gives him a great platform to help other people. And I believe that his story will help other people.
Every testimony, there has to be a story. This is just a part of his story, and it's a victorious story, and we're thankful for that.
People going through it need to see you, and they need to touch you. And I know that I went through the things that I did in college and the cancer diagnosis to be able to do so. I feel like I've been blessed with the platform to be able to help others and inspire others going through the same thing.
Oh, man. Tough stuff, man. Really is. Really, it's really tough to listen to a story like this, but at the same time, I think that it should wake you up. It should give you a very different perspective on just who Josh Pascal is and what he's endured and what a lot of cancer survivors and warriors are going through. That's why I'm so passionate about trying to turn this platform into, helping the Rockhound Cancer Foundation to help others, right? And it's a small pebble, in that big lake that they just showed, right? I'm just casting a small pebble. I just want my ripples to hopefully find someone in the community that could use some help at the right time. I think the most impactful moment of this video was when they said he wouldn't ring the bell because there's somebody in here right now that won't ever be able to ring it. Like that's what really got me last night, among other moments, was saying that, because it could have been me, could have been Megan, could have been my sister, Could have been any one of you. Could have been someone you love, someone you know. I can't walk through my life with hate in my heart. And there's individuals that, for whatever reason, that's all they want to be about, is hate, negativity. Can't do it. Won't do it. I don't care if every video I ever do gets 1 view, because I won't be negative. Just can't do it. And it's because of things like this. Because you don't really know what's going on with somebody. You have no clue. No clue. I don't know, man. Our world is lost. We need to take a moment and step back and get back to where we used to be. Be kind to others. Live by the golden rule. You're going to do you, but I'll tell you right now, man, life is a lot easier with a few sprinkles of sugar than salt. It leaves you with a better taste in your mouth at the end of the day to know that you were kind to somebody. Just be kind to one person today. Watch what it does to you. Watch what that interaction does. Don't ever go shopping and, walk in and not look at anybody and not engage with someone. Just try it, man. If you're introverted, I get it. Help somebody. Just like the other day, man, I'm leaving the grocery store. And this old guy with a cane dropped his cane. He's got, hands full of groceries, can barely walk. And so I picked up his cane and then I grabbed his groceries like, let me just take these for you. Kind of looked at me sideways like I don't know if I should trust you or like you're really helping me. It's just those little small moments, right? To help somebody you don't even know. But that individual has no idea that I battling cancer and post-cancer and a bunch of other medical conditions, but I put my life last, right? I put other people first. And in this situation, it's the same thing. So I want to try to do something impactful. I try to galvanize, the content creators in this community, and slowly what you see is people are just fake and they have negative energy and all they care about is being an entertainer or an actor, and instead of doing something impactful. So there's 2 things that I'm going to do. Number 1, going to do something for Josh somehow, some way. We're going to get something to him. Number 2, there's a lot of people right now that don't even know if they're going to have a Thanksgiving meal because they don't have their SNAP or EBT benefits or whatever. So we're going to try to do something. I'm going to make a bunch of phone calls between today and Monday, or today and Tuesday, on my way back and forth from Cleveland to see what we can't do. We've got a giant tailgate on Thanksgiving, right, at Ford Field. There's going to be tons of people out there cooking food. So why would it be any more difficult for us to put a line, of people together that can make a bunch of extra meals and invite families just to come down and grab some? That's just one of my ideas. We were supposed to do the turkey giveaway and do 50 families. Time just got away from me. I think we can still pull it off. And if we can't, then I'd like to donate to Feeding Detroit. There's a fundraiser that we can donate to, and next week I think we'll try to do it. We'll try to put it together and see if we can get some people to donate. Even $1, $5, whatever you can do will help, and we'll do it right through YouTube. And so YouTube will send all the money to them. And I think that would be a big help to the city of Detroit, whatever we can help them with. So whether it's cancer or whether it's helping people eat, let's just do something. Anything. Anyway, Josh, man, I hope things work out for him. I know he wants to play football, but obviously his health is more important. And we don't know, the way that this video ended, we don't know what's next. We don't know if he's going to play. We don't know if he's done. We don't know if the cancer's like really bad right now. But the fact that it was already in lymph nodes, like that's really bad. You can be in remission, but how long does it last? I'm not a doctor, but I don't know the prolonged prognosis. Maybe it's 5 years. Maybe it's 1 to 5. Maybe it's 10. Maybe it's 3 months. Who knows? No clue. But I hope he keeps fighting, and we're going to keep fighting here too. All right, 93 strong, man. Get better, Josh, and whatever he has to face, man. We're behind you 100%. I'll see you guys over the weekend. Tomorrow morning we'll break down the game. We were supposed to do it today, but obviously last night kind of threw a good wrench into things. So please go to the Detroit Lions YouTube and just flood it with comments. Flood it. Hashtag 93 strong. Fill them up. Fill up that cup, man. Find him on Twitter, wherever he has social medias, and fill him up. And let him know that you got his back. All right, that's it for me today. Guys, have a wonderful rest of your Friday. And I promise next week we'll hopefully have more of a, more energy. But sometimes these things have to happen. I wish it didn't. So you guys take care. Go and probably go to Detroit Lions. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Pressured by Hutchinson.